Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening Network. This is another the Ask Julius Show episode. It's actually episode number 127, which is incredible the amount of questions that have been asked to Julius and their group of entities through the channeling of Casey Spear. Hi, Casey, how are you?
I'm great. Hope everybody out there is doing so well. I can't believe we're into November. I was just saying, October was just gone. Like, I don't even know what happened to October. Drove downtown in my little downtown area here where I live, and Christmas stuff is already up, and I'm like, wow, we're back into Christmas again. It seems like it was just 3 months ago to me. I don't know. Seems like things have sped up. Don't know how everybody else is feeling about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. We feel the same way. And here, with the time zone changes, or with the time, actually, the summer or the seasonal time changes here in the US, now it's dark where it used to be still with a lot of sunlight or a little bit of sunlight, but that's normal because we change the time. One of these days, there's countries in the world actually that stop doing that, and I'm sure there's a reason for doing that. But let's move on because we have a lot of questions. As usual, what we do is I become small. So the main character on the screen here it is Casey, and we start with the questions. Porsche Talk Civil says, hi, everyone. And the first question live comes from the Flourishing Group. Hi, Casey and Julius. If we have our money in the bank, is that not smart? Do you foresee the US dollar depreciation soon? And if so, approximately when?
Oh, so your dollar is already completely trashed out. It's a fiat dollar. It has been that way for a very long time. It has no value whatsoever, and it hasn't for a really, really long time. That's why they can control all the monetary systems and the global currencies exchange and things like that. It is going gold backed. It is planned on going gold backed. Reinstatement of gold backed commodity currency during this administration. It was supposed to do that during the last time that Trump was in the administration, but the elites put the kibosh on that. So it is earmarked to go gold backed. Okay, and when it does that, the currencies around the globe are going to reset. That's what everything is earmarked to do at right now, as far as the projection for everything. That's what's everything has to do with all the governmental things that are going on and the tariffs and a whole bunch of different things. As far as when they're going to pull the trigger on that, we don't have control over that. So we can't tell you, who is going to do that, when they're going to do that. What we can tell you is the money is printed, the new currency is printed, it is earmarked, everything is commodity. They've got the commodities to back up all of the currencies around the globe. So it won't just be the US. Your banking systems know this at this point, depending on the bank branch that you go into. A lot of the people in there have seen the new currencies. They've got them in the safes. They've got them all stocked. And so whether they're going to do that before the end of the year is still yet to be seen. They're waiting for elections in some of the other countries. Sudani is about to get reelected on the 11th in Iraq, and it is earmarked for Iraq to revalue their currency at that time, and everything's supposed to shift simultaneously. Whether they're going to follow that timing or not is yet to be seen.
Thank you so much. Next question, actually, it's going to be an offline question from Emery. How does something like 6-7, which became word of the year, although it isn't an actual word with a defined meaning, become so viral and resonant to so many when the energy behind it seemingly wasn't intended to?
Master, it's all about your programming and all about the thought response from people. Okay. All of your brains are connected. All of your thought waves are connected. You do not have separate thoughts from each other. That's quantum physics and that's science. There is no separate frequency. All they have to do is interface with AI, algorithmic thoughts, and they'll have all of you thinking the same. So that's how things go viral. So you think that the things are spontaneous, but they aren't. They're just mind manipulation and mind games that they play on you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next question is an a live question, and it is from Porsche Talk Civil. Can parents be narcissistic?
Sorry, can parents be? Absolutely. That's what births narcissistic people are narcissistic parents. That's 99% of the problems, and that's 99% of how the system works. So, narcissism is usually birthed from narcissism. That is a truth. Narcissism can originate from mostly one of three platforms. Following narcissistic parents, okay? And so narcissism will rebirth themselves in order to shut down their emotions and their compassion to not be destroyed by the parents whose emotions and compassions are shut down. So it can be a passed on learned behavior. It can also be triggered by trauma as a child that doesn't necessarily have to come from a narcissistic parent, but likely is. Anybody causing that much trauma and that much harm onto their child is usually narcissistic. But let's say that categorically they're sociopathic or psychopathic, the child will protect itself, narcissistically. But it can also be ignited from one of the parents overcompensating for the other parent being a narcissist, in which case grandiose entitlement can trigger narcissistic behaviors in a child. So if you are over spoiling a child, overcompensating for a child, and creating the entitlement issues on a child, that entitlement can also move its way into narcissism.
All right, fair enough. Next question is an offline question from Cherilyn. It's a little bit long. It has 3 or 4 questions in it. How do we build our expectation? It has been said to focus in your imagination as if it's already done. Is repetition the key? Emotional intensity, surrender, combo of all?
So we would tell you that expectation is not the key. Expectation is a judgment. It's a requirement. It's agenda. It has a lot of limitation to it, and it comes with a lot of fear-based energy. So we're going to tell you that's where it's all starting to die for you, is in expectation. So expectation is the opposite of allowing. It is the opposite of allowing. So while you are manifesting, so to be clear, you are never not manifesting. Masters, you're constantly manifesting your reality. So for you to come to any thought that you need to learn to manifest, it's like you needing to learn to breathe. So you're constantly manifesting. That's how your reality is going on around you, as you are constantly the movie projector for your reality. You just aren't aware of it. Your energetic frequency is going to determine whether your reality is fear-based, which is very low frequency, or love-based and in high frequency. And that has to do with how you are frequenting, what your current state is, what your frequency state is. As you focus on thoughts, you will bring a focus to a possibility of showing itself up. But the more you obsess over that, the more you attach need, agenda, and requirement to it, the more you will push it away.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We keep on receiving all those questions nonstop. Thank you so much for always being with us, asking questions. This is the episode number 127 of the Ask Julius Show here at Awakening Network, accelerating the consciousness of humanity every single day. The next question comes from Meanwhile Cat 55K saying, "Hi, Casey, Angel, and Julius, and the world." So the next question is actually from KTAG 57. "Hello, I'd like to ask Julius, what's up about feeling all this sped up time? What's behind it? Thank you."
It has a lot to do with interference for what you would refer to as timelines, timeline flows. They like to mix them up, bunch them up, entangle them. When they use devices to entangle, quantum entanglement, as well as timeline entanglement, as well as dimension and realm entanglement, and anytime they use devices to do that, it speeds up the illusion of time that is playing itself out kind of the way that you would say organically within a holographic projection of how you are creating it. So when you are creating a reality for yourself, Master, when you are the organic producer of your reality, listen to our words, please. The organic producer of your reality, each dimension that you exist in, you have all agreed to showcasing your thoughts within what's we refer to as a time demonstration, the way a thought plays itself out in order for an experience to take place. And when all of that is happening organically, not through manipulation and not through programming and not through interference, it happens in your third dimension in an organic timeline, which is basically the same type of time that was set for your dimension originally. But you have so much artificial interference now, control, manipulation, timelines are being crossed and entangled. It causes literally an interference in the natural flow of your time and the way it produces itself and speeds it up. It can actually slow it down, but when it slows itself down, it doesn't have as much chaos attached to it. If you want to cause confusion, stress, and chaos, you speed up the timelines because people are already stressed and full of anxiety over the compression of organic time. You want to get them even more stressed and more full of anxiety, you speed time up. And anytime you get humanity even more stressed, you are more likely to be able to control and manipulate them even more.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Remember, there's this QR code at the top right corner of the screen. What is it about? It's fear and trauma, it says. If you scan it with the camera of your cell phone, it's going to take you to the fear and trauma response, become your attachment style, which is a 3-part workshop with Casey and Julius that we will discuss in a few minutes. But meanwhile, we will keep on asking the questions that the audience is asking Julius. All right, so the next question is from lovely Androline. Nice to see you again, lovely Androline. Hello, Julius. I work with the elderly, and my current client has dementia and will be passing away. What can I say to her to help ease her transfer to the next phase?
You want to encourage her, Master, to not be afraid. Not be afraid. Any type of conversation that leads to joy and happiness and silliness and playfulness, even conversations that gets her thinking about anything in any direction other than the eminent scale of what it is that she is going to expect. Anytime that we've ever had the opportunity to dialogue with somebody while they are making their transition, we usually get into just very expanded topics, leading their minds in a direction so that they are not focused in fear. So anything that you can do to assist this person to stay calm and peaceful and joyous and happy and even retrospective on a kind and full of joyous aspect will assist them energetically to move into their next thought experience without fear vibration.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, lovely Androline, for the question. The next question comes from the Flourishing Group. Is Taylor Swift a clone of Zena LaVey, the daughter?
Yeah, so we'll tell you actually, so there's a multi-leveled answer to that. So Xena is actually non-human. Was non-human. Okay, so she's a reptilian and she was non-human. Okay, so she exists for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So she is the Taylor Swift that was the original organic Taylor Swift. However, all celebrities are cloned once they reach a particular stage. So Taylor Swift has many clones. She has many lookalikes, but the original one is Xena that is just extended over hundreds of years of time existence.
All right, all right, all right. The next question comes from, let me see. Let me see. The next question, there's so many today. From Sonia Lee. Hi there. Is what I am and what I'm doing meant for me? Is my project aligned? And does seeing it mean I'm manifesting it? And then it has a follow up message. So basically, and then it says, I know no path is wrong, but how does one know what they are manifesting shows they are on the right path?
Well, Master, you're conflicting in your statement. Okay, so you just said that no path is wrong. Well, then it would make everything that you're doing right. So you've already answered your own question. We can't make something more right for you than it already is, and everything is right. Okay, there's no such thing as a wrong path, but you don't understand what that means. Okay, you don't understand what you're saying, or you wouldn't be asking this question. All right, you are source. You are source. There is no path that can be designed for you other than you, by anyone or anything other than you. You are creating your experience all the time, not sometimes, all the time. And every single thing that you experience expands you. Whether you will realize that or not is based on how aware you are and where your level of consciousness is. So, Master, because you have even affirmed that you can't be wrong, then that means that everything is right. So, asking us if it's right when you know it can't be wrong doesn't even make sense that you're asking us that question. Okay. To be clear, you are correct. There is no such thing as wrong, and therefore, by your own declaration, Master, everything you do is absolutely right.
Excellent. Thank you so much. The next question comes from Cat55K. Can you tell us how the QFS, the quantum financial system, reads our consciousness and intentions and responds accordingly? Thank you.
It doesn't, Master. It's just that your thoughts are so alike. They're so alike. Okay. You are not having free thought most of the time. That's what algorithms do, is they project onto you a thought. You respond to what they're suggesting, and therefore they're controlling everything that you're doing. They're controlling everything that you're doing. It's not hard. It's not hard. You've been on AI. The quantum financial system is AI. It's been that way for a very long time. The QFS is not new. It's not new. Okay. You've had this system for many years now, many years. Anything that you are learning about, Master, you need to know it's been there for a long, long time. Okay. The only way that any type of computerized system can quote unquote read your thoughts is the fact that they're giving you those thoughts, and then you are validating that you're having those thoughts by acting accordingly. All you have to do to break the system is to create your own new thought process, but you'd have to be fully aware of your thoughts in order to do that. But 97.9% of humanity are not aware of their own thoughts and just simply process suggested thoughts controlled by AI.
Fair enough. Next question from, let me see, it's an offline question, by the way. Sonia Lee says, I figured it was confusing. Thank you. No, my apologies. Sometimes I know that you guys write fast and then there's no way you can delete it. No worries. Here we are to make everything clear for you. So no worries at all. Maybe I just needed to hear that. It's all right. Absolutely. Everything is just fine. The next question is an offline question from Jeanette. If everything is a show that we are watching and we should sit and relax, does it matter if we vote as a US citizen? What is the reason for a communist to win in New York?
Well, because the elites are communists. The communism just means more control. It just means that the government controls everything in your life, which pretty much is going on in your current system anyway. We're going to support that there have only been two three actually, three authentic elections that broke the system, the rigged systems in the US ever in your history, ever in your history. And only because the system is rigged for what they project to be a percentage of corruptness. But when there's an overwhelming by 90% more of a voter system, they can break a corrupt system. And that has happened three times in the US, and every other time it's a selection. Every single one of your leaders in the US are related, every single one. They all go back to the same bloodlines, and it's the same thing for every single country. Every single country. Okay, so they're all related in the same bloodlines. It's very, very, very controlled. So is it important for you to vote? A vote can break the system when you get enough votes moving in a direction. But if you don't get enough votes, then it's a selection system. So do you believe that you want to try to break the system through voting? Then vote. But it doesn't run a good average. Most everything is a selection system, but we wouldn't tell you to not go vote. We would tell you that your voting is the only way to break a corrupt system, but most everybody is selected.
All right, thank you. And thank you for the question, Janet. We hope that you will be able to watch and to listen to this answer. Let me go to the next one, which is one second. It's Sony Dean. Julius, why we are so prone to repetitive thoughts? How do we break the chains? Thank you.
By choosing a different thought, Master. By choosing. You're not prone, you're programmed. You're not prone, you're programmed. Okay? So when you have constant repetitive thoughts, that's programming running in your brain. And you have the ability to shut that down and shift and go another direction with your thoughts. It takes discipline, it takes awareness, and it takes practice. And it will be very frustrating, and it will be hard to surrender because you've become so accustomed to not thinking for yourselves. But all you need to do is start to think for yourself, Master, and initiate that action and practice for yourself.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next question. Let me see. Stephanie Cruz, nice to see you here again, Stephanie. Hi, everyone. A special warm hug to Casey and Julius. Love you. I'm interested in fully filling into creating a heart-centered relationship with horses.
Mm-hmm.
I know and believe they are sentient beings and healers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there a question in there?
It says, I'm interested in fully filling into creating a heart-centered relationship with horses, and then there's a question mark right there.
Right. So she must be asking, how to initiate. So you share thoughts, you share energies. There is no break in that system. You can create that whether you are with their physical presence or not. So the more that you set an intention, use your thoughts, see that connection, feel that connection, Master, it is weaving itself into a reality. It is activating itself. When you are in the physical presence of that sentient being, all that you are focused on is your sharing of light. You put the two of you into a bubble of light together. You synchronize your heart rates, you synchronize your energy vibration, you share the rotation and the activation of your frequencies within your light. Before you do that, of course, you ask permission or you send an invitation. So you may enter into it when you see one physically and you are in the physical field with them, you will ask permission to join their frequency. They, of course, will usually give you that permission. And when you are away from them, you do an invitation. So that you aren't being intrusive with your energy when you're away from them. Just send out an invitation and create it in your thoughts, create it in your energetic field, feel it in your heart, Master, and it is so.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And the next question comes from the one and only Greg Nyman Jr. Julius, recently I have had a couple of opportunities to facilitate communication between someone who has transitioned
Yes, go ahead.
and their loved ones. How do I grow this gift?
You just keep doing it. You just keep doing it. So this is amazing. Okay. So, and this is for all of you, right? So this is all. Many of you are practitioners. Many of you are facilitators, even card readers, tarot card readers, palm readers, numerology, astrology. Many of you are readers. Many of you are all kinds of energy practitioners. Many of you are intuits. Many of you are mediums. And you can use any vehicle, any apparatus, any formula, or any practice to communicate with energy. It's no different when somebody transitions out of the physical than if they're physically sitting in front of you to get a read of communication from them. That is the truth. That is the truth. So, when you know this, the difference is that when you are having a session with somebody and they're physically present and they're physically sitting in front of you, you pretty much know that you have their permission to be interacting with you. In fact, they're the ones asking you for the interaction. So you just move right into the session or you move right into the experience. Well, when they have gone disembodied, you come up with a way to ask them if they would like to come in for the communication. So with card reading, there's usually yes or no cards. With palm read, there's different ways for you to get an affirmation or a yes. And once you get that yes, just slide right into the read and let the apparatus do it. However, when that takes place, you are likely to really start to get an entry from that sentient being. They're going to come in for many of you, and you'll be overtaken with their emotions, where instead of them sitting in front of you, them being able to verbalize feedback to you to give you validation as to how the reading is going, obviously they're going to start dropping. So they may go clairaudient, it may go clairvoyant, or it may be completely empathic. And you'll start to know for sure that that read or that message is coming through by the way you're feeling. You'll be overwhelmed with emotion. You generally will take on the emotion of the person you're reading. It's a very, very clear way for communication. It absolutely is amazing. And just like anything else, we would add to suggest to you to add it to your repertoire. Practice it. Practice it. As much as readers practice on people, their friends, their family, start practicing on people who have transitioned. You surely can get many people to offer up, hey, try my mother, hey, try my daughter, hey, try my sister, and practice. And you will get a refining aspect, because here's the truth. Most of you that are readers of any kind, because everybody's intuitive, most of you use something to practice your intuitiveness, even though you can be a card reader just based on learning how to do it. Most of you are just using it to bridge you into your full intuitive nature. And so if you are that way, you can definitely get a very, very intense and very, very accurate reading. No different than if they're sitting physically in the room, because their energy is the same. Just because somebody has a physical costume on doesn't necessarily mean that their energy is more intense than the energy of them without a costume. And in fact, you may find it's just the opposite, because when they have crossed over and they've given you permission for a read, they're usually going to be wide open for you. Where the person sitting in front of you, even though they may be asking you for a read, they could have a guard up because their altered ego was really engaged and they don't want you to know something. But usually when somebody has crossed over, they want you to know. They want to get a message across, and they're going to be extremely transparent with you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. The next question from Alpine Cakery. Hi, Julius. I heard a report that the house that was owned and occupied by Benjamin Franklin, they found several bodies buried there and dated back to his ownership. Was he a serial killer? The story just got buried. Thank you.
Yeah. Of course, they were all in the cabal. They're all in the cabal. They're all satanic worshipers. They all have human sacrifice. They have children. What they're not telling you is that they're children. Okay. So we would say that it's all just ritualistic. All of the forefathers, all of the politicians, everybody like that is all into human sacrifice. It runs through everybody's house. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, all Obama, all of them. Just start digging. Start digging. Okay. The whole White House has got intertunnel systems for there's all kinds of satanic ritual rooms underneath the White House. So this is common for all of them.
All right, fair enough. And now it's time for the special of the week. Let me show the screen. Here it is. And let me hide this question. Fear, trauma, response, become your attachment style. A 3-part workshop with Casey and Julius. This is a 3-part online workshop on Zoom on November 11th, 12th, and 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What can you tell us about this special workshop in 3 parts?
So this class is going to be for the person who is really doing a deep dive on their limitations, their fear-based energy responses, attachments in their lives, traumas in their lives. And it's mostly blind spots for people. Everybody has an attachment style. Until you hit a 5th level of consciousness, everybody has an attachment style. Learning what that style is and changing it will help to actually get you out of some of your trauma, actually get you out of some of your fear, and vice versa. But it's mostly blind spots. So this course is going to have a lot of revealment for you. It's going to have a lot of suggestions for you for your own self-evaluation. It's going to make suggestions on how to shift a lot of that. It's going to have an amazing interactive module with Q&A, just like this, where you can dive deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into self-evaluation, because your conscious journey master is about self-awareness. Self-awareness. You will not grow on your conscious journey until you can see yourself completely. That is a truth. But with 90% of your limitations being blind spots for you, that's why most everybody's conscious journey is a chokehold for them. And this is going to be helping everyone stepping in to the release and the revealment of some of the major blind spots for themselves, so they can move through their conscious journey with more accomplishment, more productivity, and at a more accelerated rate.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Remember, you just have to scan this QR code with the camera of your cell phone. It's going to take you to this web page, this landing page, where you can press the buy button, and it will take you to where you have to go in order to have access to this upcoming sessions, 3 days, 11th of November, 12th and 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US. Remember, we are broadcasting live from the US to the world, and we know we have people following us every single week, both in Asia and the Americas, in Europe, and from time to time we also have viewers and listeners in Africa, because they have asked questions in the past. Thank you so much, Casey, for the explanation. And let's go back to the questions, because there are plenty of them. And the next question comes from, let me see, someone that still hasn't asked one. All right, hold on a second. Yeah, we asked the one from Alpine Bakery. This one from Stacy Savage, the one and only as well. You've said that when our soul transitions, we move into our next thought. Mm-hmm. Can you give more info on how we choose and what we bring with us into our next physical experience?
It's all in your thought process, Master. It's whatever you're thinking about. It's whatever you're aware of and whatever you're thinking about. That's what you're doing all the time. You are never without a thought, Master. It doesn't take a brain to have a thought. So you are consciousness. You are thought and emotion in existence, in movement, of creating the experience of obstacles or opportunities or demonstrations or theatrics or dramas in order to play your own existence out as a demonstration and a possibility of expansion. So you don't think when you have a costume and then not think when you don't have a costume. You're constantly moving through thought. And those thoughts create your experience, whether you have a body or not. So it's just a continual action for you. You don't skip it, you don't hop it, you don't jump it. It is a flow for you that you are not aware of when you're in an amnesic state. That is what we mean.
All right, thank you so much. The next question is from Sparking 3D. Greetings. What advice do you give a woman using dating apps and dating several men and doesn't want to hurt anyone, including herself? Thank you.
We would suggest you don't use them. That's what our suggestion would be. Honestly, that's what we would suggest. It's nothing but low vibration. It's nothing but a hack, and you will get hurt. That's what we're telling you.
All right, fair enough. The next one from JJ. Hi, JJ. How are you? I have noticed that the art of checking on others with compassion and empathy has dramatically reduced my in the last few years. Why is this happening, and why this kind of love ever be restored? And will this kind of love ever be restored?
So, Angel, to be clear, they're saying that the more they move into compassion and empathy, the less romantic they find love to be. Is that what they're saying?
And empathy has dramatically reduced my, and then there's an N. It doesn't say anything else. It just says, has dramatically reduced my N the last few years. That's what it says.
Yeah, we're not sure what they're saying, what they're trying to say. So we're not sure if they're saying that their compassion and empathy has reduced. Okay, because they're checking in so much, we would say that they're working in an aspect of detachment rather than connection. But they have to also make sure that they haven't moved from sympathy to compassion. There's a difference, okay? So people believe that compassion and sympathy are the same thing, and they are not. They are not. When you are sympathetic, that means that you feel sorry for someone, and that is usually a more intense emotion, a need to fix because you feel sorry for someone has a more intense emotion to it than compassion can feel, because compassion is simply an understanding of what is taking place without judgment, and you do not have a need to fix. So your drive, you could be referring to, you used to have more of a drive when you were sympathetic to people, and that drive would be your need to fix the situation, which you can't. So you get drained when you're sympathetic. When you move into compassion, you don't get drained, and so it seems like a less intense experience, but it's a much broader and higher vibration when you are interacting with people with understanding them rather than the need to fix them.
All right, fair enough. The next question, let me see who's next. After asking so many questions, it's probably, all right, it's Sports Talk Sybil. So are or is anyone responsible for taking care of children or parents? My mother expects for me to support her, and I do according to my capabilities, but I'm being blamed for her shortcomings.
So, Master, you're asking us way too much of a personal question and a therapeutic question for this platform. Okay, gets into a very complicated aspect as to what your relationship is all about. We certainly can't give you any of our perspective as to whether we think you're responsible for your mother or not, or whether your mother is responsible for you or not. Okay, those are all things for you to decipher. Okay, so we're not going to get on this platform and dive into your history as to how the relationship has entangled with your mother. So it is our perspective that nobody needs or has to do anything. Okay, but you are the one that gets to live with the consequences of whether you do or not.
All right, thank you so much. The next question will be Sony Dean's question. Julius, I'm curious, what do you mean when you say communist versus capitalist? They all sound so fake anyway. Thank you.
Well, yeah, it's just a controlled, they're all controlled systems. Masters, they're all controlled system. Okay. So communism is more of a blatant take absolutely every piece of your sovereignty away. A complete dictatorship. Your food will be controlled. Your toilet paper will be controlled. You won't be educated. You won't be paid. You'll be put into cubicles to live. You'll pay everything that you'll be, complete slaves, and you'll surrender over 50% of your earnings back to the government. Those are some of the typical, aspects of communism. All your information will be controlled. You won't be able to travel. So your sovereignty is extracted from you basically 100%. In what we will call a republic system that allows for capitalism, meaning for people to have variable earnings and to be allowed to do that. There still is many controlling aspects, especially when there's a taxation, and everything still has an aspect of control, but you have more freedoms in a republic system, which you refer to as a capitalistic system, than you do for socialism or communism. And by the way, socialism is communism. There's only two systems. There's just competent communism and a republic or capitalistic systems here on this earth. All of your second and third world countries are communistic. That is the truth. So there's no escaping that. Why would you not want to live in the Philippines? Why would you not want to live in these third world countries? Just think about that. That's going to answer your question as to what communism is.
Thank you. Next question from lovely Underline. Hello again, Julius. Some people, when they close their eyes and think of an apple and can describe it, what is going on when a person cannot do that and only sees black? Can they change it?
So, Master, your brain holds and houses experiences, but not pure thought application. So you could have a system glitch in your brain as far as recall and a reference as to what an apple is. So your brain always works on visualizations, whether you realize it or not. That's how you are affirmed as to what you are thinking is the truth, is you work on a reference system from your brain. So there could be a glitch going on in your brain, and is not allowing that reference, to come flowing through to you. That's what we will tell you.
Wonderful. Remember, this is show number 127 of the Awakening Network, and we have this super special this week, which is the Fear and Trauma Response Become Your Attachment Style, which is a 3-day workshop over Zoom with obviously all the recordings for you. So make sure that you take your cell phone, you open your camera app, and you point it at the QR code on the screen. You will be taken to the landing page that we saw before, because we already talked about this, and we keep on asking the questions that our lovely audience is asking to us. The next one comes from the Flourishing Group. I have an intuitive feeling the whiteheads are the other side of the same coin of the cabal. What do you guys think? I find it hard to believe that Satanists have been killed. I wish it was wrong.
So, Master, you do have a controlled system here on the earth. That is the truth. And so there is two sides to a coin, the coin being a controlled system. So we won't disagree with you there, because even when the white hats overtake, let's just say they're going to overtake, the cabal or the elite, there's still going to be control in the system. Okay. You're still not going to be completely sovereign, even under the white hats ruling. So we would say they're all part of a controlling system. So that's what we will say. And that's the way we will agree with you on that statement.
Excuse me. Thank you. Next question from Sonia Lee. Can I please also ask, are dreams predictions or problem solvers or alternate realities? I remember them and they are so vivid, always been that way for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a dream, Master. Your brain is just tapping into thought, tapping into truth and experiences. The whole concept of dreaming has just been constructed to keep you all from understanding how fully expansive you are. So you're in a constant state of tapping into thought, constant state of tapping into thought. It's just when you are physically awake, you're very distracted and influenced by what's going on around you. And so your thoughts are generally in accordance to that distraction and or what you're paying attention to. When you close your eyes and rest your body at night, you don't have that running program in front of you holographically, and your brain or your consciousness, if you've left your body, has an opportunity to align itself with other thought possibilities that are going on. So know this, anything that you are thinking of is somewhere, somehow. Your brain cannot create thought. You are processing what is existing as a thought possibility at all times. So whatever you are focused on or you are contemplating or consciously aware of is somewhere, somehow, Master, and it's all you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next question from Sony Dean again. Julius, what are the chances for us to get free of this artificial, manipulative, reptilian, or other malicious interference? Thank you. Is cloning necessary? What is the path of freedom here and now?
No, cloning is not your path to freedom. That is for darn sure. Master, the only way you can escape it is to keep your frequency above it. And that's a truth. It runs on a frequency system, and it is designed energetically to tune in, control, and manipulate the thoughts of low frequency beings, thought consciousness of levels 1 through 3. And as you raise your consciousness into the 4th and 5th level, you can escape the programming.
All right. Thank you so much. The next question is from Cat55K. Can Julius explain fractals, please?
So, Master, fractals are not separate from each other. So the best thing that we can give you as a demonstration is a kaleidoscope and a prism. You know, they're prisms. They're all connected. They're in a never-ending, ongoing state of each other versus fragments that are pieced and particled away from each other. You are not a fragment of thought. You are fractal, thought fractal in existence. All thought is a fractal. And your consciousness is what you are a fractal of, okay? So you are not separate and singular. You don't have separate souls. You don't have separate thoughts. You don't have separate existences in any way, shape, or form. Source is an ongoing, ever-expanding, eternally existing, demonstrating, and knowing fractal energy existence. That's what we will tell you.
All right, fair enough. Thank you so much, Sony Dean. Another question. Julius, how do we unlock the frequency of flow and abundance and stop having just enough? Thank you.
It's all based on fear, Master. It's all based on fear. You are convinced that you don't have enough, and so therefore it is. And it's all a frequency. All you have to do is get out of fear-based frequency, and everything you think about will flow. But if you are not working on your consciousness and you don't even know what it is that we just said to you, then we would suggest you get into our teachings, and they will help you understand exactly what we are saying. Not only that, but how to do it, how to do it. That's what all the teachings are about.
Excellent. Thank you so much. The next question from Greg Nyman Jr. Julius, I have noticed that when I am around a certain group of people, I get really bad pain in my lower back. What is going on there? And how can I release that pain before it happens?
Yeah, you can probably literally feel their burdens, okay? Humanity is engulfed in burdenship. Everything is a burden, okay? The health, the wellness, the finances, okay? The responsibilities, the obligations, the constant threat of things being taken away, the constant safety threat. And so almost everybody is literally energetically carrying not only the burdens of their own individual lives, but they're usually entangled with other people's lives as well. So anything that you feel in your back, neck, shoulders is burdens, carrying the burdens of others. And so due to your empathetic nature, you're probably picking up on what it feels like for them to be carrying burdens. And we'll guarantee you they probably all have back problems. They probably literally all have back problems. So that's what we will say.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All the audience obviously is saying thank you for those answers. The next question is an offline question from Jeanette. I would also like to ask Julius about my health. Arms numbed and heart pain. The doctors say that I don't have anything after doing many tests and lab work, but I know that I do. Is living in the mountains, 7,000 feet above the sea level, affecting my health? Should I move out from here?
It could be that you have thick blood due to altitude, lack of oxygen, and that thick blood flow can be affecting the way your veins feel, which can cause aching, and it can cause a blood flow problem to your heart, depending on how big your blood vessels are. So yes, elevation can be affecting you because there isn't a lot of oxygen above, let's say 4,000 feet. So we would tell you that you could increase your oxygen intake. That would greatly help you, and you can do breath work practices. So getting more oxygen into your body will probably help you, and also to detox. So part of your detoxification process will be to remove parasites from your body, because when you have parasites from your body, they block oxygen intake and they block oxygen flow in your system. So by detoxing, doing heavy parasitical, heavy metal detox, it'll help to increase the flow of oxygen through your body and then increase your oxygen intake. And that will help you greatly, especially your brain.
Wonderful. And that was the last question of today's show, show number 127. And we will have 128 next week. Today is November the 9th. It means that it's going to be November the 16th. Already half November down. Oh my goodness. That, again, speaking of speeding up, time speeding up. What a pleasure. What a pleasure to have all those questions online and offline. Thank you. Thank you to our incredible production team, as usual, to have everything ready for us just to show up and, work with all those questions and make sure that everybody has their question answered. Please remember, scan this QR code, Fear and Trauma, for this 3-part workshop for this week. Scan it and it will take you to the landing page where you can sign up, or you can send an email to support@challengingjulius.com, and the support team, our production team, will definitely help you answer any questions, any doubts that you have before signing up. Anything else before we go, Casey?
Yeah, of course. I want to ask everybody, please like and share on our pages. Please subscribe to all of our pages. Please go to the new website, channelingjulius.com. Sign up for the newsletter as we are transitioning into new systems, new platforms. We want you all to stay well informed of all of those notifications. There's some changes coming after the first of the year, and staying connected to us will keep you in the flow of those changes. It also helps us get out a little bit more. So as you guys like and share our pages, all of them, and you subscribe to them, it helps our reach. It helps our reach because they'll go out to more and more people. So that's how you can support us here, okay? Is the signing up, is the liking and the sharing. And same thing for you too, Angel, on your website and things like that and your platforms. Is that correct for you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember, we are on a mission at the Wisdom for Kids .today, wisdomforkids.today. If you want to know more about how to help kids in Latin America become entrepreneurs using the local resources. You know that because plenty of you have already been in touch with me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. So yeah, sharing support is all we ask. Sending you guys so much love. Keep your questions flowing in. You know, you can send them into support@channelingjulius.com, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Absolutely. See you next week. And right now, the outro video. Thank you so much for being with us every single week, nonstop. Next week, remember, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, November 16th, Sunday in the U.S., the 128th show of the Ask Julius Show here at Awakening Network. expanding the consciousness of humanity every single day. See you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.